Hey everyone, it's January 17th. We'll get the morning market rundown here. So let's dive into it. So yesterday we talked about run potential push up, maybe back into that 594, 596 area. And we could see that this VWAP from the election continues to be a source of supply so far. And this VWAP from the previous high, this purple VWAP or the orange VWAP, seems to be the source of supply. So we dive in. We got the data on the 20-day moving average opening up today. It will be on the close. If we hold, the price will be closing down here. So that 20-day moving average will start to flatten out over the next 3 days. So if we consolidate and start to rise, that could start to get this 20-day moving average to start to flatten out and start to rise. So then we'll have a little bit more of a flat to rising 5-day moving average represented here on the 30-minute time frame. So we'll have some multi-time frame trend alignment from the intermediate and the daily. We have the 50-day moving average here. We can see this blue line, the data is here and starts to rise. So if we don't start to trend over the next 3 days, we'll start to be up here. And if we're not trading above that 50-day moving average, we'll then start to flatten out. So it's just some things to be mindful of on the daily time frame here. And if we continue to rise, right, the moving average will rise and flatten out as we average in data if we continue to push into the 600. So jumping over to the intermediate time frame, potentially something like this today. We're rallying into this election VWAP area. So I'm sure a lot of people have their eyes set on that breakout range right here. So ideally, maybe it pulls back to the VWAP, breaks above it, get some people to chase into this 594, maybe squeezes to 596, and then ideally gets a nice drop the rug on. So then we can carve out a nice sharp higher low as we got the sequence forming here of these lows. I would like to get a higher low to form to actually play off of. And it doesn't care what I want. It could just keep going or it could fade and just fail. But ideally, the play is for a low risk setup is don't chase this gap up in here. That's just going to gap and go. And how we could play that would be is if this does break here, then maybe you could play this 590 as your higher low as we break in. So ideally, it pulls back in to this 2 and 3 day VWAP area, gets back above the daily VWAP, and gets going here to feel that leg up into the 594, 596. Okay, if we dive into pre-market hours quickly, we could just see ideally we're looking for some type of scenario. So if we rally up, make a new high, and can hold the daily VWAP, watch that pullback to 592.54, 2-day VWAP. Look for bounce there. And if we fail to hold the daily VWAP, then perhaps we could come back into this week to date VWAP, month to date VWAP, and this week to date VWAP area here at the 586. So what this would look like is something like this then is if we don't get above, if we continue to fail here, I could see something like this getting us back above VWAP, making a new high. And then if we don't hold the VWAP right here in this area, we're going to get maybe something like this. Let this data catch up, or maybe even a deeper pull. So that could be a potential scenario. And then what we would look for, like I said, is this daily VWAP just kind of come like this. And then maybe we could start to get something here at this 593. And like we talked about, we got that higher low shaved out. We go to the QQQ, right? We could see similar action here. Found source of demand supply right here at this 517. That VWAP from that previous high. If we throw a VWAP on from the election, November, right here, make it orange. And that's holding as a source of demand for us right now. So let's sync that up to the intermediate time frame. So we could see here we're consolidating now in the pre-market between that election VWAP and yesterday's VWAP. So this was the mapped out scenario we had for yesterday, was something like this. What are we doing here? Wanted to hide. So we had something like this mapped out for this to rally back above, pull back into this 5-day moving average, get back above the daily VWAP, and then get going. So as we see here, price is fading back down, rallying back up. And now we're consolidating between that election VWAP. So if we could start to break above this 2-day VWAP, perhaps this could be a higher low, or this higher low could be here in the gap pre-market, and we start to rally up and get going. This push into the 521.73 region and potential more upside. If we rally up and break back below this daily VWAP, the price action is poised to fill this gap down to the month-to-date VWAP and potentially see some further profit taking down into this week-to-date volume weighted average price for the average buyer. We could see if they will step up to remain in control. If you like this kind of analysis, please like and subscribe.